Hi, I'm Joe. Welcome back. This is the Ultimate Love Letter. Thank you for joining the conversation. We're going to allow God to lead this conversation. You know, when I sit down, I usually always have a topic that God has laid on my heart to get into. And this morning, as I was spending time with God, and just reading his word and giving gratitude, I hadn't yet received a word on what we ought to speak about. So I allowed more time for God to just land the topic on my heart. I got in the shower, I meditated, and still nothing definite. Now, there were a few convos that came up, but I'm assuming that was me, my personality that was just looking for something to get into and not necessarily allowing God to lead. So as I press record, the only thing that relaxed my spirit was simply allowing God to lead me, to lead us, to wing it, if you will. And so I think that was the message. Just allowing God to lead and relaxing in that guidance. You know, it never needs to be scripted. Life doesn't need to be scripted. Conversations do not need to be scripted. Podcast episodes should not be scripted. Nothing is more profound than just allowing God to lead, to guide. I know if you've been listening to the last few episodes, you understand that for me personally, I am in the midst of what I call the fight of my life. I've been very vocal about this. I've spoken about this. It is something that God is allowing me to go through because, again, growth does not come easy. Growth will, in fact, outweigh the adversities that we're currently dealing with. And one thing I will say that just keeps me in my peace is just knowing that God is still in charge. When I'm trying to be in control, it is scary, and for good reason. I do not know more than this infinite intelligence that is guiding us, this source, this higher being, God, who is leading the way. You know, my devotional today said to can you allow, can you relax rather in my presence, not knowing where we're going? Because if I know, that is all we need. So I want to ask that we allow that message to penetrate our souls. We all feel like we know exactly where we're going. We all feel like we know we have a plan, a course of action, and how to get there. We have the strategy mapped out. We know the definite plans we're going to take. But if we can relax and loosen those plans, now taking inspired action is a part of the plan. God will guide you. God will give you insight and wisdom and let you know where you ought to be going today, what you ought to be doing today, who you ought to be speaking with today. But he always asks that we keep those plans tentative, meaning yielding to the detours that he will often always bring. Can we relax in his divine guidance? Can we, as we're learning to relax, can we begin to focus on Him, focus on the outcome we want to see? So, for instance, if there's anyone listening today that finds themselves in any sort of challenge, whether that's financial, relationship, business wise, instead of succumbing to worry and despair, can we train our mind to only focus on the outcome we want to see? Right? So if it is growing that business, maybe business is slow and we need more clients, we need employees, whatever that is that we need, that we're worried about, can we switch it up and only focus, hold the thought of what we want to see? So if that is, I need 5 employees, can we hold the thought that God will bring us the 5 employees? If it is, I need to attract more clientele, can we just focus on the thought of attracting more clientele and not simply focused on what's missing, the lack of clientele, the lack of employees? What we focus on grows. That is our power. That is the gift that we came here with, one of the gifts, the power of our mind, which is the ultimate gift. Whatever it is that we're focused on, we are drawing to us. So if we're focused on the lack of relationships, the lack of finances, the lack of clarity, then what are we bringing into our life? We are bringing in more uncertain situations, more fog, the opposite of clarity. If we're focusing on the lack of relationships, what are we drawing in? We're drawing in not a relationship, more of the same. If we are focused on the lack of money, what's missing? What are we drawing? We're drawing in more situations where we're missing money, where money is not meeting the need. If we can switch that thought to focus on the money we need to start the business, just simply hold that thought. And I know that oftentimes it's easier said than done, but it's magical. It's profound. It is your birthright. It is your power. If we can hold the thought of the money we need for the business, guess what will happen? The money you need for the business. If we can focus on that divine relationship, the one that ultimately serves our highest good, guess what we would draw in? That relationship. If we can focus on the clients that we want to work with, what will we attract? The clients that we want to work with. As we focus on whatever it is we want to see in life, it grows. And how we then pair that to calm our nervous system, meaning to remove worry, because, anxious thoughts will come in as we're just focusing on the outcome, what we want to see. Can we then turn our attention to God, giving God thanks for what will come, giving God thanks right now for the clients, for the relationship, for the finances, for the business? He says when we focus on Him, He frees us to live in peace. Give your worries to Him. Allow Him to figure out the details. And you simply focus on what it will be, not what it is, not what it has been, but the goodness of what it will be. I told God today, you know what? When I read that, He was saying, release your worries to me. Of course, I say what I always say when I read these passages: you can have it, God. I don't want it. I simply want to live free. I simply want to take to our platform and preach the good news. I simply want to engage in the work that I love. You can have the rest. You can figure out how to pay these bills. You can figure out how to make sure I'm drawing in the aligned partnerships and sponsorships. You can figure out the details. Let me be free to just speak about you. Let me be free to give my gift to the world. Let me be free to allow you to use me to touch others. That's all I'm concerned with. God can have the rest. So if you are dealing with possible control, right? And it's natural to want to be in control. We want to be able to, we feel safer when we know where we're going. We feel safe. I don't know about you, but most people that I know, my friends, my family, only feel safest when they're driving. And this is interesting. You know, I don't know if you've heard about Waymo. It's a new Google car, self-driving car. And we have signed up for it. It is an experiment right now. I mean, it's safe, it's super safe. So it's not available to everyone, not in every city. It's only available in a few cities. I'm in Los Angeles, so it's available in my area. And we've signed up for it. We were approved to ride, and it's just been the time of our life. We jump in the car, there's no one driving, there's nothing but peace, which I love. When I have to drive with Lyft, I'm just going to say it. Oftentimes, one of the most uncomfortable things is that I have to engage in, um, oftentimes, a shallow conversation with the driver. I don't want to talk. I just want to get to where I'm going. I want to be in my meditation, my thoughts, the stillness, the peace, the quietness. I don't necessarily want to engage. Another thing is that oftentimes, more often than not, these drivers are a bit reckless on the road. I get car sick pretty easily, and almost every time I'm with Lyft, I start to feel a little woozy. All of that has been removed when I'm in a Waymo. I jump in the car, I set my music, the comfortable temperature, and we're off in stillness. And it's such a perfect, smooth ride. It is comfortable. If I feel more safe than when I'm driving, and I'm not even kidding this. This is the most perfect driving, period. And I feel comfortable. I'm relaxed. I'm at ease, just trusting that this self driving machine is going to get me to where I need to go safely, soundly, and I can just focus on what it is I want to focus on. Whether it's the book that's in my lap, whether I'm just closing my eyes in a meditation. As I started writing, in these Waymos, I started recording the experience for my social medias and putting it up. And every single person that commented, and I mean every single one of them, was, "Oh my goodness, not me. Oh my goodness, I need to be in control. Oh my goodness, I can never trust that." And you know what I thought? Maybe, perhaps, we can look at where we're not trusting the invisible divine guidance of God in the same way. We don't necessarily know it all. Oftentimes, when we're in control, we're driving towards destruction. Oftentimes, when we're in control, we're making the majority of mistakes. We're driving for miles in the wrong direction. Can you allow the guidance of God to guide you? He knows more than we do. Can you relax in releasing control? If you can, you will find your arrival safe to the outcome that you have intended because you have removed your fingers, your control from the situation. And you have been freed, released to simply engage in the things you love as God drives you to where you really need to be. I think that's it. Thank you for joining this winged conversation. And I suppose now, looking back, the conversation is all about releasing control and allowing God, allowing that higher being, allowing that higher source to guide you to everything you truly require. Let Him figure out the details. You don't really want to figure them out when you think about it. You just think that it's going to take you to figure it out to achieve it. No, it doesn't. God never says figure it out. God says, trust me. You relax, keeping your eyes on me, and I will guide you. I will give you divine insight. I will give you the action that is for you to take. But allow it to come from me, not from you. Thank you so much for joining us. If you haven't done so yet, please consider subscribing. Find us on YouTube. Thank you to our new subscribers there. Please share, like, and comment. We love when you engage. And thank you for continuing to just spread the good news. Thank you so much for being here. Couldn't do it without you. We could not do it without you, God and I. Until next time, love yourself and love others. We'll chat again soon. Bye for now.